Yeah. It's fun, isn't it? Aren't you eager about what's coming next?
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
So, great to be here. My first time.
Yeah.
And kudos to all the first-timers. So I followed the teachings for quite a while. But my biggest... I know what I want. I write it out. I put it on boards. I put up pictures. I get really clear.
Do you think that you more often find the feeling of that, or do you think that you more often feel the absence of it?
It's certainly coming out of contrast. So that's the backdrop.
So that's logical, isn't it? That it came out of contrast. It was trending that you launched the rocket. But this is a really important thing because you say, I know what I want. And we hear a lot of you say that, which means I can articulate it, I can state it, I've written it down, see, here it is. I've been setting goals and that sort of thing. But from this gathering, the emphasis that is really of value to you is that you've got to feel it. You've got to feel it even though it hasn't manifested. You've got to feel the realness of it, and then it will show itself to you. And there's so much fun in it coming out of the bushes where you can see it. It's so fun. The surprise and delight of that is really fun. The word expectation is the most powerful word that we can speak. Expecting is desire and belief all tied together. Expectation. So we started today by talking about finding the feeling place and then watching what happens. And when you see something happen that you've connected the dots to, now your expectation is improved. But if you're just wanting it, but not finding the feeling place of it, so that the evidence can't show up about the improved vibration, then your expectation doesn't change. You know, earlier when we were saying to you that most people offer most of their vibration in response to what they're observing, you expect all kinds of stuff you don't want because you're observing all kinds of stuff you don't want. You've got to create some stuff, even if it's little stuff, that makes you expect stuff you do want before you're going to expect what you want. Because you know what you want, but you don't expect what you want.
So does that explain what happens? Because I'll be really clear for a little bit. And then other good things happen, and I settle. So I want one kind of house, but I'll get another kind of house, which is not really the house that I wanted, but I'll settle for that house.
Well,
I want to start a company, but I get a really good job, and I'm really happy in that great job for a little bit, until 2 years later, I realize, wait a minute, I wanted that. What happened to that?
well, you're doing what we've been describing. You're observing and responding and observing and responding. That's not deliberate creation. That's creation by default. Deliberate creation is, I want to start my own company, but I also like this job. I like the earning of it, and I like what I'm collecting, and so I find the feeling place of this job. What is it? It's stability. I'm appreciative that somebody else got something going enough that it produces enough income that I and others can live. These are positive aspects that I appreciate. That's something that I'm looking for in my own company. Can you acknowledge that there's stability in the job that you haven't been able to find yet in the company that you will start?
Yeah.
Because the company that you will start is full of unknowns. The job you've got is knowns. So you're calibrating to what you're observing, which is what you're expecting. You've got to find some way to make what's in your vortex something that you expect. And the way you do that is by reaching for the feeling of it. Because, here's a piece that this will really help you. You cannot materialize a company like that. But you could find the feeling place of that pretty close to that much time. You could acknowledge your wisdom, we're using that word specifically, your gift, your talent, your ability to do what you do in the world. You can feel that. And you can feel doing that working for somebody else, or you can feel that doing that or something like that inside your own company. And you can feel the stability of that. Now, you haven't tried to do that ever. You've never tried to do that.
Well, I did it on a smaller scale a long time ago, but so I do have a little bit of a feeling what it feels like.
But you get what we're talking about. So you give us having laid this groundwork, talk to us for a short time about what do you most want to improve your expectation about? What's the subject that you care most about?
I guess providing something of immense value. So my background is in music, and I'm a music teacher, among other things. Providing something of value to musicians all over the world, and having that grow, and grow, and I guess the joy that comes from.
Okay, so now you're there, the joy of it. So what's joyful about that? In other words, get inside that joy. Make us understand. What are you talking about? Watching someone by instruction from you figure out how to connect with something in a way that they haven't before and realize that they've got that?
Yeah.
In other words, the very thing that you want to teach them is the very thing we want to teach you.
Yes. Yes.
You've seen it happen on many, many occasions. You see when they tap in and go there, and you see when they don't. You know the difference.
Yep.
You know the feeling difference of that.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got somewhere just now, didn't you? So now put some words behind that. Milk that just a little bit. What's that feel like? Put yourself in that same musician's shoes, or as the teacher, it doesn't matter.
It's the feeling like, they understand what music is, how music works, how the language of music works. The light bulb goes on inside of them, and they can connect the dots.
And what's the biggest factor in that? So they can learn the chords, they can learn the instruments, they can learn the notes on whatever instrument they're playing. They can learn that. That's just rote. They can learn how to do that. But what's the big factor? What happens when it really begins to click? What happens?
Well, what I teach is the language.
They catch up with what's in their vortex.
Yes.
They catch up with what's in their vortex. And here's the thing. Their inner being isn't asking them to get all the way to their big stadium success before they get the buzz. Their inner being just wants to lead them just beyond where they are. They just have to move in the direction of it. They don't have to get all the way there.
Yeah.
They just have to move in the direction of it. But you've got to help them understand what it feels like when they're moving in the direction of it. And once you get them to hook onto that, then the expansion, the progress of their ability in the music will blow their socks off. And yours too in many cases. It's just not even logical that someone can progress that quickly from one place to another.
Yep. Yep.
But when you put this into the equation, nothing else is logical. You know why? Their inner being knows how to do all of it.
Yes.
Their inner being knows how to do all of it. Their inner being understands the rhythm. Their inner being understands the sequence of everybody else that's in the group. Their inner being knows what everybody else is doing or about to do and knows what to help you do to make it fit in. There is not anything more conducive to connecting you to source energy than music.
Yes.
Esther wants it to be basketball, but it isn't.
Sorry.
She likes to watch the team on the court, and she likes to know when that guy finally gets it, and he's tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and suddenly he knows where everybody else is going to be, and he knows what to do, and he's in the right place at the right time, and he's awesome. And it is so rare. It is so rare that somebody taps into that, because most everybody is doing the rote thing, the thing that they've learned, the drill, you do that and you do that and you do that. Well, what you're looking for is this other thing. And nobody that's making it big, which is those that you're teaching, is ever going to be happy with anything less than that.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.